Hey everyone, welcome to Front of the Eps. I'm Menti, and this is episode 24 of the Squadron Shootout Season 2 tournament. This episode, we've got the Grey Legion by Doom Agent going up against the Ohm Industries Merchant Navy by Ohm is Futile. And hopefully this time I can actually get through the whole battle, because the past two times I've tried to do it, the Grey Legion fleet carrier has gotten the teleport on damage glitch and ended up upside down in like the first 3 minutes of the battle. So let's hope that doesn't happen again this time. Let's get the shells flying and get this underway. Ooh, that fighter got absolutely destroyed right there. It didn't even make it like a kilometer away from the fleet before it just got blown apart. Oh, you know what? Maybe it isn't the teleport on damage goods, because it's just kind of going up in the air and doing a backflip right now. I just kind of assumed it was, because how else would it end up on its back so quickly? But apparently, it's doing that for some reason. Oh well, I'm not restarting for that. That's unfortunate, but no idea why it did that. It seems to be doing it consistently all of a sudden. Oh, this Hindenburg has no engines remaining. One has been completely just torn off of the wing. The other one not producing any thrust. It's just this little jet at the back, keeping it moving. And the flying fortress of the Grey Legion has been shot out of the sky, down to 57% health. It probably had the gun detonated, ripped it up from the inside. So that is going to get an 80% sinking despawn. Cruiser gets sent flying, is kind of rearing back, threatening to do a backflip like the fleet carrier did. But it gets back down. What is it shooting at? Oh, a Hindenburg. Hindenburg off in the distance. While its missiles are bombarding, it looks like one of the Ohm Industries cruisers. Meanwhile, the Ohm Industries cruiser is also launching its own missile strikes, which are going for the frigate. Which is probably a good call, because that thing is coming in fast. It wants to ram something. And that gun's plinking away too. Oh, that cruiser is getting hammered by ram shots from the Grey Legion battleship. Nobody wants to be targeted by cram cannons. Well, few naval vessels do anyway. They're big and they're big and herdy. We got a 2 damage something over here. Looks like it's I'm not sure. Must be a Leamington. Yeah, that was a Leamington. Oh, and then there's a Leamington missing a wing here. flipped over fleet carrier shot down that Leamington. It has done that before. Well, not the Leamington specifically, but you know what I mean. Grey Legion battleship here. Taking a pretty hefty beating, but well, I say hefty, I mean in numbers, but the actual damage it's taking from these hits is not high. Let's put it that way. Oh, we've got an AI dead over here. What is that? I think it might be the frigate. Yes. That is the Grey Legion frigate that is AI dead. This cruiser is just... oh, taking missile hits from the other... from the Grey Legion cruiser. They keep dunking down into the water just before hitting, and that's giving them a big damage bonus. I don't know how much more this cruiser is going to be able to take without sinking or despawning. The other cruiser is also kind of battered, which is not great news for the Ohm Industries fleet, because they're kind of running out of things that can do anything to this battleship. The Hindenburg's torpedoes can, but they don't do a whole lot. There's just one torpedo every now and then. And several of the Hindenburgs, 2 out of the 3, which seems to be how it goes, 2 out of the 3 Hindenburgs are actually in the water. And the Hindenburg just launched a torpedo at the capsized fleet carrier here. Oh, it's actually rolling back over. Oh, it's going to take that torpedo right to the underside. Boom. And this missile has just been sitting here for a while. Oh, this fleet carrier is kind of in danger of an 80% sinking right now. Oh, but it just shot down a Leamington. That gun is just trying its hardest to track that Leamington. Oh, it might get a shot here. Yep, there it goes. And that Leamington is not happy. Oh, but the gun was just detonated, probably by a torpedo from a Hindenburg, and that fleet carrier is going to despawn. But looks like one of the Ohm Industries cruisers has also been 2 damaged and despawned. So what do we got left? We've got the Hindenburgs that are in the water. They can still fire torpedoes. Some Leamingtons, which aren't going to do anything to what's left. The other Ohm Industries cruiser is pretty badly banged up. And you've got the carrier for ants, which have been trying to do things to the Grey Legion battleship, but well, they aren't really doing much. What Ohm Industries really needs right now is for its Hindenburgs to use its torpedoes to target the battleship. Or the cruiser, either one. They should probably... That's actually a hard call to make. Do you focus the battleship or the cruiser here? Well, the cruiser is actually kind of sailing off into the unknown. So it might actually get itself disqualified here. It looks like it's turning about. It was fighting something over there which just despawned. So it's coming about. It's not going to get disqualified. And now it's launching torpedoes at one of the downed Hindenburgs. Or missiles, not torpedoes. Which is not good news. Because those are basically the only things left that can really do anything to the battleship. That's an AI dead Hindenburg, and now the missiles have changed target to the other Hindenburg, and they're slowly just inching their way towards it. And there's a hit. There's another hit. And this is not going to go well for this Hindenburg. Oh, well, and suddenly targets just changed. And oh, what was this? Something just got disqualified. Did not see what it was. May have been the other cruiser? I'm not sure. Oh, and well, that Leamington just got blown apart by a missile. And now back to the Hindenburg. Yeah, this thing is not going to last long under that missile bombardment. Those missiles from the Grey Legion's cruiser are no joke. They do a lot of damage. That is an AI dead Hindenburg. It looks like this carrier France here. Actually, that might be a different one. Where is that? I think that one may have been teleported on damage glitched out of the battle because I don't see the shockwave anywhere. But at this point, it didn't really matter. Yep, the cruiser took out the remaining Hindenburg, and yeah, that particular instance of the teleport on damage glitch did not affect the battle at all. Not in any way that wouldn't have happened, because this carrier France is just gonna get blasted by missiles and destroyed. So, yeah, seeing as how that's the only ship left and it can't do anything to the remaining opponents with its flak cannons, I'm going to go ahead and just call this right here. I'm not going to wait another minute it'll take to destroy that. So round one goes to the Grey Legion. But it was not an overwhelming victory. Like, there were only 2 vehicles left of the Grey Legion, and they were both, well, the cruiser was fine, but the battleship had taken quite the beating. But yeah, anyway, let's go ahead and get the camera in position. We'll get round 2 underway, and we'll see if Ohm Industries can step it up, or if they're going home. I think the cruisers focusing on this flying fortress to start with their missiles is a mistake. Like, they shouldn't be doing that, because the flak rounds seem to be doing just fine in bringing this flying fortress down. And those missiles could be used to on like the opposing cruiser. Oh, and it looks like Hindenburgs have lost wings again. I think I think they're colliding, because they definitely did that in one of the previous ones that I had to redo because of the teleport on damage glitch thing. And yeah, that's probably not great. Oh, those cram shells just barely missing that Hindenburg. Looks like it's going to go down in the water. But those torpedoes will still be effective. Torpedo swings around. What's it going for? The battleship? That is a good idea. If all three Hindenburgs just focus their torpedoes on the battleship, that could definitely do some not so nice things to that ship, because it does have a tendency to sink. So poking holes in it with torpedoes is a pretty good way to take down this ship. It's just being in the water is not the greatest place for a tactical bomber to be. Like, it's even rebuilding the wing, but it has no way to get itself out of the water to get those jet engines ignited again to start flying once more. If it had a balloon on it, it might be able to, you know, get back in the air. Well, several barrels of the battleship's guns have been damaged. Let's see how everything else is going. Oh, looks like the frigate is getting juggled. It's taking flak rounds to its underside here, but I don't think those flak rounds are going to do a whole lot. Well, that cruiser gets launched back. Now it gets launched that way. The frigate getting flipped over. Ooh. And then that grinding against the Ohm Industries cruiser. Just... putting a big old hole in that ship. But it's capsized, but I don't think it'll sink, because I think it's made mostly out of, like, alloy. Or at least it has quite a bit of alloy on it, I think. Or maybe it's all stone. Maybe I'm completely misremembering. I can't tell because of the paint. That looked like a stone texture, but who knows? Oh, something was way out where it shouldn't be. It was either the Flying Fortress. It was probably the Flying Fortress. It probably lost control and flew way out there and got disqualified. Which ship is this? Is this the battleship? Ooh, battleship is not doing so great. Got some heavy listing and leaning and sinking going on, because those Hindenburg torpedoes have probably been hitting it. You can see one of them going in right there. Oh, this turret has lost all of its guns. There's only 2 cram cannons left on the rear turret, still functioning. Just slowing the DPS down on the Ohm Industries cruisers, which is good for the Ohm Industries fleet. Does look like the missile system on this may have been taken out, though. At least one of them has. This cruiser is not in great condition either. But it is still functional. The battleship's just sailing right between the two downed Hindenburgs. Probably not the best place to be, because that just makes it really easy to torpedo you. Oh, and these guns might actually be able to hit from this range. Yeah, they are. Excuse me. That's kind of funny, an underwater cannon actually being effective. Oh, and there are the torpedoes. They are not going after the battleship for some reason. Why? Why would you not attack the battleship? Why would you go after... It looks like they're going after the friggin' capsized fleet carrier here, which... Not the greatest use of munitions there, Hindenburgs. You're letting that battleship get repairs in. If it fixes its guns up, it can really wreck your fleet. Also got a Leamington down in the water right here too. So far, Home Industries at 87%, Grey Legion at 73.2%. A lot of ships in bad condition, but not defeated. Uh-oh. What's this guy aiming at now? The only thing over here are the Hindenburgs. Oh, no, it's swinging around, swinging around. Going after that cruiser, I guess? It might not be able to hit very well because the gun is underwater. And that few meters of water will slow the shells down more than the AI is expecting. So it won't be aiming in the right spot and the shells will fall short. Yep. Exactly what happened. Oh, it looks like it's down to one gun on that turret. And that one gun it's under the water, so... Well, some of those fragments might hit, but other than that... The battleship is basically disabled. So it might be a better idea to work on the cruiser. Oh, we got a... Oh, for a second there we had two cruisers just launching missiles at each other, but then the cruiser decided to change to the battleship. Or no, this is the frigate. Man, Home Industries fleet is just really obsessed with attacking vehicles that are disabled and no longer a threat. First it was the fleet carrier, now it's the capsized frigate. It's like... Meanwhile, the Grey Legion cruiser is bombarding the crap out of your cruiser and doing significant damage. Actually, it looks like right now it's bombarding a carrier for ants, which probably the worst target it could pick right now as well, so, you know. It is how it is, I guess. Oh, that cramshell looked like it was fired from above water. That may actually hit. Indeed, it's going to. Big damage. With only one of them, it's a little difficult to make anything stick. Oh, those torpedo bay doors are opening up. Out comes the torpedo. Its propellers kick in and goes for... Let me guess, the frigate? Oh, the frigate is too damaged now. So it's going to despawn. Probably not entirely before those torpedoes arrive, though, so... Oh, one of them changed targets. Swinging around and going back for the battleship instead. Oh, so is that one. I wonder if they'll have the lifetime to actually make it back and hit the battleship. That one did. And we're getting a lot of frame hitching all of a sudden. May need to back out to the main menu and then come back in, you know, refresh the world. Assuming we have a round 3, which right now it's looking like we're going to a round 3. But at the same time, the Ohm Industries fleet is about to run out of materials, and it never goes well for them once that happens. But the battleship is actually gaining DQ time, and which means if it loses a 0.5% more of health, it'll get an 80% sinking despawn. But if it doesn't, it'll just get a DQ detonation. And then all that'll be left is the cruiser. Yep, there goes the battleship, so all that's left is this cruiser. But this cruiser is a quite capable vessel, and it's not exactly fragile. I don't think it can defeat the entirety of what's left of the Ohm Industries fleet, but who knows? Stranger things have happened. See, it's not really taking much in the way of damage from what's being fired at it so far. It's just losing aesthetic blocks like the railings and superstructure and stuff. The gun and missile systems are staying intact just fine. Though if it gets back closer and those Hindenburg torpedoes start hitting it, that'll be a completely different story. However, Ohm Industries is out of materials. One of the Hindenburgs is gaining DQ time. Are all three of them in the water, all next to each other? Yes, they are. They're having a pool party. There go the torpedoes. I don't know if they're going to be able to reach it. Looks like they are. Oh. Ooh. Yeah, but that did some. Stripped off some of the external armor. Oh, that hit, and that one hit. Okay, cruiser's taking damage now. Oh, it's actually firing missiles at the Hindenburgs. That's actually pretty smart here. because they die fairly quickly, and they're... Oh, that was an ammunition detonation, which means I don't think it's going to be able to fire any more missiles. Which means that this battle is basically over at this point. We're just waiting for the timer to run out. That torpedo. Is it coming around for another try? Yeah, it sure is. But yeah, I'm going to go ahead and call this round 2 in favor of Ohm Industries here. Because this cruiser is not fighting back anymore, and we're not going to wait 3 in-game minutes just for the timer to run out. So I'm actually going to pop back to the main menu, kind of clear things out, let the world reset a bit. And then I'll go back into the thing. Because thankfully it keeps the settings as long as you don't close the game, so... Easy enough. Hopefully that'll help with some of that the frame rate stuttering we have. All right. So we got things loaded in. Let's go ahead and get round 3 under the way. This is for all the marbles. Whoever loses this round is going home. I wonder if these Hindenburgs can, you know, avoid running into each other and ripping each other's wings off for once. Well, this one's going up to a different height. That's a good start. Oh wow, the Flying Fortress is AI dead already. That's actually pretty huge, because that means the cruiser's missiles are not going to be wasted on that anywhere near as much as it has been in the previous rounds. These two Hindenburgs are getting real close to one another. Uh-oh. Uh-oh. And there it is. Oh, jeez. I wonder why that killed the engines on this Hindenburg, though. It just got kind of punched in the face. How did that knock the engines out? Flying Fortress doesn't look like it's actually despawning, despite it being AI dead. It's just... its blocks are not being removed. Now it has an 80% sinking timer instead. Okay, that's interesting. And see, now the Ohm Industries cruiser's missiles are targeting the Grey Legion cruiser much sooner, or if at, you know, just in general, really. Is that thing seriously just going to exist through the rest of the battle? Oh well. At least the tournament mod counts its HP as 0 since it's AI dead. It's just kind of annoying that that's just going to persist through the battle. But hopefully, you know, the Ohm Industries fleet isn't set to target salvage, so they'll just never target it again. The frigate's coming in. Ooh, that was a heck of a shot. Launched that carrier for ants back pretty roughly. Frigate's trying for a ram. Blasting away. That cannon of its looks like it's only under fire from flak, though, which isn't going to do a whole lot. get a little bit of a side scrape there. It's going to ram this cruiser. Oh. I'm not sure if a impact actually occurred there, and then an explosion happened that launched it back, or if the cruiser got launched back by an explosion before the frigate ran into it. Either way, that cruiser is not doing so well. Well, it looks like the fleet carrier didn't flip upside down for once at the start of the battle as well. So it's been hammering away at the aircraft of the Ohm Industries fleet. Those rather effective flak shells of it that it carries. At least effective against the, the Lemingtons. I'm not sure how this Lemington isn't dead yet. Yeah, this cruiser is in a bad way right now. Oh, for a second there I thought that was the Flying Fortress, and I was like, no, we can't have that. I was about to have to restart the whole round because it looks like the Flying Fortress actually finally despawned. It probably detonated from disqualification eventually. Because it sank to the bottom of the ocean. This cruiser's just sitting back here. It's moving backwards. Is it actually... Yeah, the propellers are actually telling it to move backwards. It's going to get itself disqualified, isn't it? If it doesn't change direction, it's leaving the battle. That would be a devastating turn of events for Ohm Industries. Absolutely devastating. And all three of the Hindenburgs are once again in the water. Fleet carrier under missile attack. Missiles not doing a whole lot. They are, fighter-launched missiles. Small missiles don't do a whole lot of damage. But it's also in the area of the Hindenburgs, and those torpedoes will do a lot of damage if they go after it. 'Cause who knows what the Hindenburgs will target? They always seem to target something that doesn't make sense to target given the situation. But that's from the Depths AI for you. Oh, well, here's the bomb bay doors opening. Out goes the torpedo. Let's see what it goes for. Going for the battleship, it looks like. Which is a smart call in this situation, I'd say. Because with the cruisers badly banged up and one of them getting themselves disqualified, there's not really a whole lot of weapons. Oh, and the other one is too damaged. Yeah, the Hindenburgs are really the only weapons left on the battlefield that can do anything to that battleship. So yeah, they should definitely be attacking this battleship as hard as they can. They are literally the Ohm Industries' last hope here. It's like, who cares about the frigate or the cruiser? Well, I mean, the cruiser would be a valid target too, I suppose. Probably the better target. It has a much better DPS than the than the battleship. And it can and will target these Hindenburgs eventually. And the battleship is a much more difficult target to kill, so the cruiser would probably be the better target here. fleet carrier getting hammered by flak, but doesn't really do a whole lot. Oh, we've got an AI dead over here. What is that? Is that the frigate? Or no, that is the cargo ship of Ohm Industries. What's it called? The Decade Hawk. Ooh, yep, and there goes a Hindenburg. Taken down by the cruiser. Of that Leamington also getting attacked by the cruiser. Yeah, things are not looking good for Ohm Industries right now. That cruiser backing away and getting itself disqualified may have cost them the match. And the battleship is really banged up, but it's still alive. And it's still firing. And the cruiser is still alive and firing. Out over here it is. Seems to have gone after going after one of the carrier for ants here. These missiles always seem to hit the water early, go down underneath, and then use their momentum to carry themselves into the ship under the water where they get the damage bonus, which is... If that was designed intentionally like that, I have to hand it to you. That's, because they definitely don't have torpedo propellers. That would not be allowed. Cruisers aren't allowed to use those. But the missiles basically act like torpedoes just because of how they fly, how they tend to fall into the water early and then coast into the enemy ship. Yeah, let's see. Let's take a survey of the battlefield here. Oh, the battleship is in a bad way. Yeah, it's actually gaining DQ time for being too low in the water. Cruiser here is kind of sailing through. On the Hindenburg's under fire from the, oh. What was that? Something just DQ detonated. I didn't see what it was. Oh, but this Hindenburg is just quickly losing HP now that it's under fire. Though if they lose the battleship, I'm not sure what the Grey Legion's HP values will look like, but it doesn't look like it's actually getting any more DQ time now. It may have recovered enough buoyancy. Which means there's just 2 carrier for ants and a Leamington left. What is going on out here? Oh, this must be a Leamington down in the water, which is about to DQ detonate. Yep, there it goes. So it's just the 2 carriers for ants left, which can't really do anything to any of the opposing ships left. That cruiser backing away and getting disqualified was just absolutely horrible for Ohm Industries. And there goes a carrier for ants. The other one will probably follow shortly. Yeah, that cruiser just driving away. Once again, costing Ohm a match. But this time, it's a bit more permanent, because that means the Ohm Industries fleet will be eliminated from the tournament. It's like, it's kind of funny, because every time Ohm makes a prediction, the exact opposite happens. You like, we need to go down to the racetrack, Ohm. Whatever you bet on, I'm going to bet on the opposite. Oh, well, no, the battleship is gaining DQ. It's not going to matter, because the carrier for ants is going to die. Even if the battleship gets DQ'd, the cruiser's going to finish off this carrier for ants, and complete destruction is a loss. But I'm curious as to what it would put the Grey Legion's HP at. 39%? Yeah, unfortunately, that's just not enough. Yeah, like even the frigate's back in the action. Sort of. I thought I saw it firing shells, but something must have just been firing over it. It's moving anyway. So yeah, unfortunately, that is a defeat for Ohm Industries, for sure. There's nothing it can do at this point. It's just a matter of the carrier for ants being, you know, whittled down by that missile barrage. And then that'll be it. So, yeah, the Grey Legion will be moving on. Ohm Industries is eliminated. Thanks for watching, folks. I hope you enjoy, and I'll see you on the battlefield.